It's the Sittin Sportside podcast, exclusively on 1045theteam.com.
And welcome into the AFC West Sittin Sportside preview podcast. I'm Eric Hammond along with Cody Marshall. And here we are talking about the AFC West. We have a question, a special question from a listener, but we'll get to that when we get to the team he asked about, which you'll have to listen till we get to that point. But it's not about our fourth place team. We'll tell you that much. Fourth place team, AFC West. Cody Marshall, who you going with?
Going with the Los Angeles Chargers. Number one,
Okay.
Why are you playing in a stadium that only seats, 30,000? You mean in the city of LA and all the suburbs, Scott, you could only find a stadium that holds 30,000 people when you're an NFL football team? I get it. You're building a new stadium that you're going to share with the Los Angeles Rams. And by the way, you probably couldn't pick two worse franchises right now to share a stadium together. I mean, at least when the Jets and Giants share them, one of them's good, one of them's not so great. But this is brutal.
Hey.
Like, attendance numbers, I'm sorry. But the Chargers, let's face it.
Yeah, man, they have to get acclimated in there.
Phillip
Eventually
Rivers is a pretty decent quarterback. I mean, he's probably one of the best quarterbacks if you look at his numbers. But they just consistently don't get the job done. They're awful in close games. They started off, 0-4, and they were up in the fourth quarter in each one of the first four games that they played. It was some crazy stat like that.
Doesn't that kind of say to you that this is a team that could put things together?
It's a team that could compete.
Yeah.
But they just don't know how to win is what it tells me.
Anthony Lynn, right? New head coach from Buffalo.
And how do new head coaches do? Let's face it.
Sometimes they do
just
good.
Ask Bills fans. They switch coaches every 2 years and wondered why they don't find any consistency in winning.
But they let Anthony Lynn go, and knowing Bills fans, the guy they let go does really good. No? Not a good theory there?
Look.
Listen, I have to agree with you just based on the other teams in this division for 100%, but we in our NFC East podcast, which is up on youtube.com, so Team 1045, we kind of said this is a division that a lot of teams could possibly do good and make the playoffs. Call me crazy. I feel the same about this division because I think the Chargers, you just said, they were in a lot of the games last year where they came back. They came back and beat the Falcons in one game last year that I remember. This is a team, and they didn't have Keenan Allen, and if he can stay healthy, I think this offense can click on all cylinders, and a young defense that contains Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, among a few others on the secondary, Casey Hayward. I mean, I think this is a team that could really compete. And now that there's something to play for in terms of LA, Rams now versus Chargers, who can be better? They might just step up to the task and be a really good team in this division. But I had to put them fourth because there's a lot of other good teams in this division.
And by who could be better, you mean who's going to win 4 games in the regular season, right?
Wait, do you think they're only going to win them?
I don't know. The Chargers, it just looks so bleak to me. I just can't see them really putting a good season together. Although I love Melvin Gordon. University of Wisconsin fan, all right. Just beat Utah State for the opener 59-10. I love him. It's nice to see a Wisconsin running back stay healthy enough to have a second year, third year going. So it looks like he's going to be one that finally puts a career together.
And I like Brendan Oliver, man, as a Darren Sproles type back in that backfield.
I like the tight end, Hunter Henry. Really
There's
young guy.
There's a lot to like on that offense.
There is.
I'm telling you.
Antonio Gates, he's a veteran, but you know that he's going to
And you're not even going to get the first round pick, Mike Williams, back until possibly October.
But I still think the Chargers are finishing fourth.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm picking them in fourth, too. I'm just saying, I guess I want to put that caveat out there that I think this could be a team that could surprise some people and possibly be better than some of the other teams. But then again, there's just too many good teams in this division. I think that I got to go 3-2-1. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. It's tough for me, but it's one. Kubiak is out. It's another new head coach in Vance Joseph. So things are a bit different. And Trevor Siemian, do I believe in Trevor Siemian?
Big Ten quarterback. Come on. Big Ten quarterback. Kirk Cousins, Big Ten quarterback, too.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
So it's Connor Cook, baby.
Yeah, where's he right now?
I don't know. He might still be in Oakland. He might be. I'll give you
I think he is. Anyways, I was going to agree with you. The Denver Broncos, there's just so many ups and downs. You love the defense with Von Miller. I mean, this defense is relatively unchanged from a team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. It's the offense. You lose Julius Thomas, who was one of, if not the best tight end under Peyton Manning, and then Trevor Siemian for a little bit.
He was.
Come on, he took so much.
He wasn't even a Super Bowl champion, man. I don't think so. Julius Thomas, no. I hate to.
I don't know why you got to hate on him. The guy was good.
And then he got paid. He got a lot of money.
And then you got 2 great wide receivers in Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. If they can stay healthy, this team can really compete. But I don't know. The running
back, I like Jamal Charles in a bounce back year too.
and then C.J. Anderson, everybody thinks that
C.J.
he's going to
Anderson.
be a bust this year. There's just too many questions on the offensive side of the ball, and that's why I don't have them higher in this division.
Yeah, 100%. I like that Chargers offense a lot better than this Broncos offense, to be quite frank with you, but the defense is what is going to get them to the third place finish, I think. Look up and down, like you said, Von Miller. I'll say Aqib Talib and Chris Harris.
You really like the Chargers offense
Derek
better than
Wolfe.
the Broncos offense. I just said Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas.
I think Keenan Allen, because of the injuries he's had in the last couple of seasons, he's very underrated, and I think Tyrell Williams stepped up. You love Hunter Henry. I like Melvin Gordon and Brandon Oliver.
I like them too, but let's give them some credit. These guys, C.J. Anderson,
Philip
the Broncos,
Rivers is better than Trevor Siemian.
I'll give you that.
So I think that Philip Rivers, even with the downgrade of talent a little bit between Thomas and the wide receivers on the Chargers, I think the Chargers offense is better because Philip Rivers is better than Trevor Siemian.
See, I think those options that Trevor Siemian has to go to are better than what the Chargers have to offer.
All right, we'll see. Total offense. We want on a side little bit side bet. We got a side pot here. We'll have the division pot, but then we have the side pot here of whose offense has been on our total yards. Chargers, the Broncos. All right, I take Chargers.
Fair enough.
All right,
I'm
cool.
going
Side
Broncos.
pot. There we go. Sittin Sportside podcast.
Get on the
You
horse.
never know what's gonna happen. So here we are, down to the final two. The final two. This is what we do when it comes down to these preview podcasts. I love it. We have two teams, right? We have the Oakland Raiders and we have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Did you actually forget the fourth team in the AFC West?
No, it was a minor, brain fart, whatever you want to call it. Who do you have winning the the AFC West? You got two choices here.
I know.
That's all you got.
I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders. Now, this holds a lot on it. Number one, I think Alex Smith with Kansas City, you know what you're going to get with Alex Smith. I loved him when he was with the 49ers. I'm still glad to see that his career is going the way it is. But I still feel like he's got a little bit of an average kind of play to him. Like, he's not going to get any better. And if he has a bad game...
Are we talking about the Chiefs now?
Well, I'm just saying why I picked
if you want to talk
the
about
Raiders over the Chiefs. But
it looks like we're going to be pretty chalk. We're agreeing with each other here.
With Derek Carr, the Raiders finally have struck gold. Now, not only that, but they finally got a really, really good defense led by Khalil Mack. And I can't believe that he has turned out to be the defensive star that he is. Only because
awesome.
It surprised me to see a guy come out of the University of Buffalo as early as he did in the draft, because I get it. These guys are really good at what they do, scouting guys, seeing how they're going to fit and everything, but I never thought that his career would take off the way it has. And you add pieces around him, and it only makes him better, obviously. Then the offense. Michael Crabtree has all of a sudden become the Texas Tech Red Raider wide receiver that we saw before he went to the San Francisco 49ers. Granted, he had some good years in San Francisco, but he spent so much time hurt.
Salty.
He never lived up to his potential. Amari Cooper is the guy that needs to step up. I thought he had a down year last year. It left a lot to be desired. If he can step up in his third year, he really adds to the threat that the offense has, because he can take the pressure off Michael Crabtree to perform week after week.
Yeah, man, and they add in Cordarrelle Patterson, I think will be interesting in the return game. That's some big underrated yards that you could get from him, as well as a guy who could possibly have some good yaks, if you know what I mean, yards after catch for your Derek Carr as well. We saw how important Derek Carr was for this team, so as long as he can stay healthy, that's where it's going to come down to, and that's the same for any really number one quarterback in any of these teams. I really like that defense as well, and I agree with everything you just said there in Oakland. That's all I really have to add there. And before we get to the question, let me just say what I have to say about the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are also one of those teams that's kind of like that boring team now. That's just kind of like the same year after year, and that's what's going to be again. Now you don't have Jamal Charles or Spencer Ware now, so it's going to be up to Kareem Hunt as a rookie to put everything together and be that feature back for Andy Reid, which is something that in Andy Reid's history he's always done a good job with, is having that good feature back. So I have no concerns really with that. It's just of the same old Kansas City Chiefs team who always comes up short, and I think the Oakland Raider team has too much potentness. Potentness. Not going to be added
English
to the dictionary
101
anytime
here.
soon.
But I think when you say that Kansas City is boring, I think it's one of those things where, you know what,
Well,
There's so many teams in
what?
professional sports that I think you could.
It's only boring because I think
Say
Alex
this
Smith
way,
is boring.
Is that they don't do anything necessarily special
Ty-
kind of
Tyreek
thing.
Hill
They
isn't
just keep
boring.
it simple and keep winning.
Because I take that back
they
a little
They
bit, though.
play with the tight end. They do have, now remember, this is a team that really struggled throwing the ball last year. 2 wide receivers anyway. Travis Kelce is right now probably the best tight end in the game. You could argue Rob Gronkowski, but durability-wise, I'm going Travis
Greg
Kelce.
Olsen. I'm going Greg Olsen over Travis Kelce.
I can't even talk to you anymore.
All right, can you
They
argue
didn't even make
with
the
that?
playoffs.
What does that got to do with anything?
Who is used? Who gets used more? Travis Kelce was the best pass
Greg
receiver
Olsen.
on the
I'm not
Kansas City Chiefs.
This is for a separate podcast, but I mean, it's easily Greg Olsen, who went to the Super Bowl in the last 2 years.
And
we're going to use that.
Just to touch on the question that was asked, Marshawn Lynch. Let's talk about his.
Let's
role
talk about
with the
that
Raiders a little
question,
bit. It's going to be tough. I just don't see him.
Repeat the question.
What Marshawn Lynch's role is going to be with the Raiders? Number one, I can't see him being the go-to back the entire season.
You're a doubter.
Because
You're a doubter.
how do you spend a year off from
Hater.
a game like football and then just come back and, hey, that
Marshawn
year
Lynch
did nothing for me?
You know
I get
what,
it.
dude?
I love Marshawn Lynch.
He's not
I
the
love
same
his
animal,
interviews.
man. He's a beast.
But I just...
He's a
There's
beast.
some sports you can't just
Go
take
into-
a year off, come back and be like, hey, that was no big deal.
Have you ever witnessed beast mode, man? Because this guy
I'm
has
a
different
Niners
mode.
fan. I saw beast mode
No,
more
I'm saying,
times than I wanted to see.
Do you have
beast
a beast mode inside you that you've able? Because no one understands beast mode. It just happens. You go, like you said, you've witnessed it,
right?
but you don't know how that feels because no one does. You can't explain beast mode, baby. You can't. And I love what Marshawn Lynch could be able to do with this team because a year off from football, I think this could start a trend maybe. If he comes out,
This
and
isn't
does it.
Diana Taurasi in the WNBA, man. You're not trying to keep him healthy. He just retired for a year, and then all of a sudden, hey, they're doing something that I thought was kind of fun, and now I want to come back. And how do you take a year off
You're a
of football,
doubter, man.
come
You're
back,
a hater.
and
Marshawn
produce
Lynch,
the same way?
Marshawn Lynch might lead the NFL in touchdowns. I really think so.
Of 1 yard runs.
Why not?
Because Oakland's
Not
actually
just
going to
1
hand
yard
him the ball on
runs.
the 1 yard line instead of
So you
dropping
think
back
he's
and
going to
throwing
be
it.
Ineffective?
No, I think they're going to find a way to use him, but I think they're going to use him in down.
Listen,
in
Latavius
short
Murray
yard.
had a solid year, and he has nowhere near the talent level of Marshawn Lynch, and we know he is. I haven't seen anything that has said that Marshawn Lynch is nowhere near anything that we've seen from him in the past. I have no reason not to believe.
Latavius Murray has the most rushing touchdowns since he came in, didn't he? Doesn't he? He's got some crazy stat like that.
You got to prove that to me and find it. Let's just not throw things out here.
Because I'm pretty sure that's one of his stats. It has something to do with touchdowns, and it was really good.
And he's not even near in his prime what Marshawn Lynch ever was.
I'm just saying, you use him, maybe you use him on a 3rd and 4 kind of thing.
He's a feature back 100%. What's your fellow's name? 100%. Steve, man, this guy's going to be the feature back. He's going to be so good for the Oakland Raiders in the last 2 years.
He's going to lead your team in jersey sales.
He's going to
lead them in jersey sales.
I'd rather have a Khalil Mack. No, I'm kidding. I'd probably buy Marshawn. Oh, yeah, and he's going to lead the team in touchdowns. Well, rushing touchdowns. You can't really. I mean, Derek Carr probably lead touchdowns.
Touchdowns responsible for, yeah. No, I
Oakland Raiders, I like them to win the division, and the big reason why is because of what Marshawn Lynch will be able to do for this team. And obviously the other things that we said.
I can't
But that's it,
man. That he could lead the
that's
NFL
it for the
touchdown.
AFC West.
You just insulted a lot of players in the NFL by saying Marshawn Lynch could lead the league in touchdowns.
And rushing touchdowns.
You've insulted a lot of running backs.
How many people have I insulted?
I don't know, but you've insulted a lot.
That has nothing to... You gotta respect greatness. So just because...
I respect greatness.
I say that doesn't mean
I think he's a great football player, but I don't see how you can take a year off from a sport that is so physically demanding, such as football, and then come out and just run all over people.
Your boy Kaepernick's going to have to do it. He's going to have to take a year off and then come back and do it.
Well, let's hold off, because by week 7 or 8, he could be signed, so it might not be a full year.
Now I'm just speculating. But yeah, I really think Marshall's going to be good. I'm not, but like I said, caveat here is just because I think Marshawn Lynch is going to have the most rushing touchdowns doesn't mean I am going out and I'm dissing LaShawn McCoy or anything like that. I think I'd rather have LaShawn McCoy than Marshawn Lynch for sure. doesn't mean, but LeGarrette Blount. I would rather have LaShawn McCoy over LeGarrette Blount, but Blount led the league in rushing touchdowns last season. That's all I'm saying. So that's it for the AFC West podcast. And there's more where this came from. Me and Cody previewing all the divisions in the NFL. Right here on 1045theteam.com and youtube.com/team1045. So for Cody Marshall, I'm Eric Hammond. Thank you for listening to the Sittin Sportside podcast.